Um, Mostly just like I enjoy the laughs. Do you still do your 9/11 stuff? Like your
No, I
9/11
don't.
bits?
No.
No?
Holy shit! Ah! Ah!
Hey guys, Dom here. So, it's been a while since the last video essay, huh? So, to those of you who are uninformed, Cosmonaut fans, I made a 10-year anniversary video last year, in the form of an emotional and personal video essay. And to be honest, I've been planning on doing more. One of them was going to be released back in August. However, my life and emotions have changed since then. I've grown older, and my original vision can't work anymore, really. But just recently, I watched a YouTube poop of the movie Up, and while I was watching it, I was reminded of how special of a movie this was to me. So, I went back and I watched it for the first time in years, and I was very, very disappointed. But not by the movie. Not by a long shot. I mean, I'm really disappointed with
you, the people.
Whenever Up is brought up by anyone, all they ever talk about is the first 10 minutes, watching Carl and Ellie grow old together and live their lives. And of course, I agree that this is a very, very strong 10 minutes, possibly the best part of the whole movie. And it could have easily been one of those shorts that they play at the beginning of new Disney movies in theaters. Did they still do that? Regardless, it sucks that so many people forget that the rest of the movie is also very emotionally charged and hits hard. And that's what this video was made for. To show people that Up is more than its intro. Before we talk about the movie itself, let me tell you about its history, alright? Up was released back in 2009, which some people, myself included, dub one of the greatest years for animated movies. You had Coraline, Laika's first feature film, and Henry Selick's first movie to ever give him the attention he deserves, which really sucks, considering he directed Nightmare Before Christmas and James and the Giant Peach, but people just call those Tim Burton. You got Fantastic Mr. Fox, Wes Anderson's first foray into animation, Claudia the Chance of Meatballs, which was not only Phil Lord and Chris Miller's directorial debut in film, but also their first animated film, despite working in animation before with Clone High. And Nine, which surprisingly flew under the radar, despite the original short film being successful at the Student Academy Awards, and it was nominated for Best Animated Short at the Oscars. Needless to say, there was some steep competition for this movie. But thankfully, it was made by the right people. Enter co-directors and writers Bob Peterson and Pete Docter. Bob Peterson is mostly known for doing the little things for Pixar, like maybe voicing a couple of characters, and doing some extra animation, storyboarding, writing. However, he also co-wrote Finding Nemo alongside David Reynolds and Andrew Stanton, so Bob already had a pretty good track record prior to Up. Pete Docter, on the other hand, is much more well known within Pixar and animation as a whole. He wrote and directed Inside Out and Soul, but before that, Pete also co-wrote Toy Story 1 and 2, WALL-E, and Monsters Inc., which was his first directing job in as well. So, with Pete and Bob tasked with making up, it's pretty clear that this movie is going to be pretty good. Now with that out of the way, let's get started with the actual movie. It starts with Carl Fredricksen at the movie theater, watching a documentary of an explorer named Charles Muntz. We know that he's a huge fan of Charles, seeing as he's not only wearing a pilot's cap and goggles, and really getting into the movie.
No!
But we see Carl pretend to be just like his idol after the movie ends. We get this scene paired with a musical score by Michael Giacchino. Prior to this movie, Giacchino worked with Pixar on The Incredibles and Ratatouille, and since then, he's worked on Jurassic World, Inside Out, the MCU Spider-Man trilogy, and The Batman. This guy has some serious talent when it comes to getting you invested in a movie, and I'm not sure I would be if it... Going back to the movie, Carl overhears another kid excitedly yelling from an abandoned home. In there, he meets a girl named Ellie, who has an eager, adventurous energy that was clearly inspired by Charles Muntz, even wearing the same cap and goggles as Carl.
You and me, we're in a club now. I saw where your balloon went. Come on, let's go get it.
After giving Carl a badge that she made, she drags him up into the attic. But of course, being around an eager, adventurously energetic kid will put you in danger. Later that night, Ellie comes by to cheer him up and to show him her secret adventure book. She only shows this to Carl because, as she puts it,
You know, you don't talk very much. I like you.
With that said, Ellie shows Carl her goals and desires of exploring the wilderness and traveling the world, with her biggest dream being to bring her very own clubhouse to Paradise Falls. And seeing as they're quickly growing to be friends, Ellie makes Carl cross his heart to bring her to the falls one day on a blimp, like the one Charles has. Carl, of course, does as she asks and keeps her promise. This may seem like a pointless recounting of a scene, but as you'll find throughout the movie, many of these elements and themes will be playing a bigger part in the story later. You'll see. Anyway, as you know it, it cuts to their wedding, we see their life playing out as they grow old together, everything is happy and well for most of it, and it seems like it's about to peak when Carl and Ellie decide to have a baby. But, as it turns out, Ellie's infertile. She and Carl can't raise a kid together when they, mostly Ellie, wanted it so badly. The one thing Carl can think of to make it up to her is to bring her to Paradise Falls, her lifelong dream that he promised her. Of course, life gets in the way at every chance and they grow older, and Carl's last effort is to buy a couple of plane tickets and have it be a surprise at their picnic. And then Ellie collapses. She's dying. Before she passes on, she gives Carl her old adventure book. At the funeral, we see Carl is alone. Earlier in their life, at this very church, we barely see anyone come on Carl's behalf. All he had for most of his life was his love, and she was taken away from him, just like their child, and just like their one dream of flying to Paradise Falls. And that's why Up is only its intro. So you can leave the video now. We're about 10 minutes into the movie, and that's all you people will remember, right? Not like it's gonna get any better.
Oh shit! Oh god! Oh fuck! Oh god! Oh fuck!